Okay, the last thing that we're going to talk about is triangle congruences. So there are 4 triangle congruence theorems that actually work. So the 4 that work are side, angle, angle, or we could write that as angle, angle, side. Either way, these are the same thing. We have angle, side, angle. We have side, angle, side, and side, side, side. Now, if you forget, notice down here at the bottom where I have these 4. I want one of each kind, so these are the 4 different types. There are 2 congruencies that do not work. The 2 that do not work are angle, 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 and side, side, angle. These 2 do not work. So if you get these, then they are not congruent. The rest of these 4 are congruent. Okay, so it helps me if I put the extra marks on my graph or on my pictures when I'm looking at them. So for example, on number 19, see how there's this X? That means that you have some vertical angles, which means that this angle is congruent to this angle. Okay, on number 20, they have a shared side, so these 2 sides are congruent, so I like to make marks there. These marks help me figure out what of these guys I have. So we need 3 pieces, using sides or angles to figure out if the 2 triangles are congruent or not, if there's enough information. We could recreate these to make congruent triangles. So on number 19, we have a side and an angle. Wait, that's only 2 pieces, so not congruent. Okay, number 20, side, side, side. Oh, look, it's one of ours listed up there, so side, side, side. Yes, it's congruent. Hooray! Okay, 21. So I'm going to start with this guy. Okay, so see how these 3, like you have 3 pieces of information, right? And all these 3 pieces are really, really close together. So see how there's this like middle one and these 2 on the sides. There's one in the middle. Notice here, there's an angle in the middle here. There's a side in the middle, angle, side. There's something in the middle. So whatever is in the middle, you want to pick one that's close to it and you start with that. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we have to label these in the correct order. So if you go in the wrong order, you're going to mislabel and possibly get your answer wrong. So you find the middle piece of information that you know, and then go to one of the outside ones to try and label. So on this guy, here's my middle, so I'm going to start with one of these guys. These are angles. So I have an angle, followed by a side, followed by an angle. Hey, that works. Let's check this one to make sure it works as well. So again, I have an angle. I found my middle piece, and then I'm going to pick one of the congruent pieces on the outside that we know about. So there's an angle, and then I have a side, and then I have another angle. So yes, angle, side, angle. Woo! Yay! So yes. Okay, 22. On this guy right here, again, you kind of want to go in order. So find your middle piece. So look, this piece, this side, is in between my other side and my angle. So this is my middle piece. Okay, so you cannot start with this piece. So if I start with this information that I know, this is an angle, and then I got to keep going around. So my middle piece is next, that's a side, and then over here, there's a side. Oops, that one doesn't work. That's not congruent. Okay, number 23, when they share a side, that means that the side is congruent. Okay, now on this top triangle, just look at the top triangle. My middle piece is this angle here. So I have a side on the outside of it and an angle on the outside of it. So when I label it, I have to go in order. My middle piece stays in the middle, it's an angle. On this side, I have a side, and on this side, I have another angle. Then I gotta check this triangle as well. So here's my middle piece. My middle piece is an angle. On this side of it, I have a side, and this one is an angle. Angle, side, side, or angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. It works, yes. Woohoo! Okay, 24, again, these guys share a side. So my middle piece on this left triangle is an angle. So that's going to be my middle piece and my 3 letters. Okay, so then next to it, or squishing it, I guess, I have a side and a side. And then the same thing happens on the second triangle. Side, angle, side is a congruence. So yes, woohoo! Okay, so that's how you do this top section. It's a little tricky figuring out which of the 3 it is. Just be careful. Remember, try and go from your middle. It's the best advice. Okay, 25. So I need to put this information in. I need to have an angle, and a side in both of these triangles. I have a side and I have an angle, but I'm missing something. So the one that I'm missing is another angle, okay? And I'm not quite sure if it's the first angle or the second angle, so we have to figure it out which it is. So if I put an angle here on my W, that would give me, if I went to the left, it would be angle, angle, side, which would be perfect, okay? If I put an angle on my V, I could also go side, angle, angle, which would work as well, okay? So just be careful to make sure that it follows with what you need. So here's an angle there, angle, angle, side, and then when you do your second triangle, you need to make sure that this angle would match whatever on your second triangle, okay? So see how there's an angle at my U, so there's an angle at my H, there's a side between my UV, and there's also a side between my IJ. So the one where I put the mark on this first triangle was in between my U and my V mark, so here I have to put it in between here. I can't put it by my I, is what I'm trying to tell you. So this works with the angle, angle, side congruency. Okay, so 26. I always forget about these cute little vertical angles. Those are congruent as well, so I'm just going to make that mark so I remember. Then I'm trying to write side, angle, side. So I have a side and I have an angle, so I need another side, okay? So if I put a side over here, then I would have side, side, angle, and that doesn't work. So I need to make sure my angle is in the middle of my two sides. So here's my angle in the middle, one side, two sides. Again, on this triangle, I have a side with the angle in the middle and then two marks. And the two marks say that this piece is congruent to this piece, and the one mark says this piece is congruent to this piece. So we need different number of tally marks if we have two sides or two angles that we've made marks on. Okay, 27, so they share a side in the middle, so I'm just going to mark there so I remember. Okay, this one says angle, side, angle, so the side has to be in the middle. So if the side has to be in the middle, the only spot now that I have is my C. So I'm going to put double marks on my C on the right-hand side, which is congruent to double marks on my C on the left-hand side, because they're two different triangles. And then 28 is side, side, side. So if they share a middle, you don't have to put a mark, but you can. You can put a tally mark there. So I have one side, two sides, so now I need my third side, to show congruency. Okay, there you go.